how to recruit. All right, ready? We're recording. Okay, cool. So we're now into part 2 on, I guess you could call this workshop number 2 on how to get clear on 6 things on the club sales workbook. So let me share my screen and just do a quick summary on those. So this is what we're looking at. We're looking at what you need to know, really 6 of, these aren't the only things, but 6 of the things you need to know, I think, to be really kick butt in a club growth and expansion through the club partner model. So we already covered the first 3, which is how you need to know how to financially structure a profitable club. You need to know how much income potential is there for partners in your particular potential club. And you want to know what a specific building strategy is to grow your royalties through expanding clubs, how much money you're going to make within all of that, and some of the other things as well. So all of these details are in the video for part 1 of this, workshop 1. We're now going to go into workshop 2. We're going to cover the next 4. So how to share your club income testimony at any and all times. This is so important. Okay. So you're working in a club and you're actually making profit that is measurable. Now, here's what this is all done. When you're using this workbook, the club owner under workbook admin is putting in what the average, well, actually it doesn't even do that. The formula does this. This puts what your average sale is above your classic combo price. But here's something it does. Now, if you get lost as I explain some of this, don't worry about it, just forget it. And then I'll show the outcome and you don't need to know what's behind it. But some of you need to know how the light switch works, how the electricity behind that light switch works. Here's how it works. After a month, if you put a month's figures from your club, as far as how many gross sales receipts the club took in, the whole partner team, how much volume the partner team sold, what the cost of goods, well, that's all you need between those two, and how many individual customer orders were filled. Now that you need your own gauge to figure out. Once you put that in, it will tell you what exactly your average customer sale is. And it'll show it right in this table under partner profits. It will show your average customer receipt. In this case, using the formulas in the computer, the average sale in this case is $10.41. Now, when you know exactly what it is in your club after you guys put this in, it might be $11 or $12. I don't know that. But what that now does is it tells the True Blue average customer sale. And it's going to tell them what the average partner sale is. And it'll be true to the penny. Once you get that, there will be no variance in it. Now, because it's an average, some make more, some make less. Why? Because some of you may serve on average 9 people an hour, and someone else might serve on average 6 people an hour. But that average between all of you is still the same. Really important to know your own personal average. Now, you will know that once you start filling this out more. Why? Because you get your own partner tab that will tell you how much you made per hour to the penny. Until then, you can still use the average here, and this will get you really, really close. So look at what happens here. This is telling you that out of an average sale, way down here, the net profit is $3 for a fully qualified supervisor partner. So what does that mean for you? If this is you, every time you make a sale of $10.41, you will be taking home, after all of your expenses, costs, including replenishing that inventory, you're going to take home $3.05 out of an average sale. Okay? Now, how much out of $100 sold will you do? Well, you'll take home $30.50. This is important for you to know. Now, if you're not following me, I'm going to stop and take questions, because this is one of the most important things for you to become an effective recruiter. This is something you really, really need to know, and you want all of your club partners to know this. You want to be able to take your club customer who you're servicing right now over the counter, who says, you know, Kurt, I was thinking about what you said the other day, and I think I would like to know more about becoming a partner here. And I say, great, Cindy. Oh, hey, this is awesome. Let me tell you, I've been working so far today. I've been working for 3 hours, and I just served, let's see, I just served 21 times 1051, 1041. Let's see, my gross sales so far in the last 3 hours are $218. So, Cindy, let me tell you how much I made. Guys, here's how you do it. You take your gross receipts, that whatever period you're talking about, and you multiply it by this number right here, 29.34%. That's how much you made. So if I say, well, gee, let me just tell you, Cindy, in the last 3 hours, my gross sales is $218.61. You know how much of that I put in my pocket? You do times 0.2934. Or you could do 0.29 if you're around it. Just memorize that, 0.29. My profit is gross sales times 0.29. It's my personal profit. If you know that, boom, there you go. So I say, well, Cindy, I just made $64 these last 3 hours. Not bad, huh? Divided by 3 hours, I just made $21.38 an hour. Now, how did Cindy respond right away when I did that? Cindy's like, wow, that's pretty awesome. But if I'm vague, if I don't have clarity on this, if you don't have clarity on what you're making, you don't have the ability to do that. All you can do is try to get someone excited and you're not sure about what you say. Now watch what I'm going to do next. I'm going to turn to my partner next to me. I'm going to say, Dave, hey, Dave, you've been working here for so far. You came out an hour and a half ago, right? Well, Dave, how much money did you make in that last hour and a half? And Dave says, well, let's see. I made this gross sales times 0.29. I just made, boom. That's about $18 an hour, whatever it is. Now, this is what you and your club team want to know at all times, and that's what this figure right here tells you. Now, right now, you're going to use it as an average, because this is taking all of the money that goes to the entire club team and it averages it out per sale. Once you bond to filling this out on a regular basis, every month the information takes yours and it personalizes it for you. And maybe you're making 31%. Maybe you're making 34%, and your partner next to you is making 26% because of whatever hours they choose. Whatever that is, you'll know it, because all you'll need to do is look at this tool and it'll show you yours. Once you start being able to do that, and once you and all of your team knows that at all times, you are now ready for a 30-second income testimonial at any time. And then someone says, hey, we're doing the COZ tonight, the opportunity meeting. Can you just tell how much you made, this week or that month? And it's no longer a big major chore. You just simply look at how much your gross sales in the club were, you multiply it times that, that's how much money I made, okay? Now, I got to take questions on that in case you don't know. Does anybody need help grasping how to do that, or what that's all about, or why to do that? Or any of the leadership have something to add to that to bring greater clarity to it? Are we good? We're good? Okay. All right. So Rachel, is that a question? Okay. So technically what I'm doing in ours, in my spreadsheet, here's how I charge these are my fees to my club partners. My club fee is $2.96 on the average sale. So what if someone spends $9? What if someone spends, I'm not suggesting a flat rate. You can do a flat rate if you want. And if that's what you do and you figure it out, then you just figure out what your flat rate is so that you can put in a percent here. But the reason I like a percent is because it remains consistent. Your partners know what percent of sales they always have to give back to the club. The club knows what percent of sales is coming in for profit. It's a smart financial business move. The consistency is there. So if I say I'm going to charge 29%, once I calculated everything, the previous workshop explained why you want to do that. Now this is just telling me what the partner fee is on average. But if I sold, let's see, my gross receipts were $314, I owe the club 30% of that. So 314 times 0.3 for 30%. All right, I owe the club $94.20. So it simplifies your partners and club owners knowing how to account for the fees or how to settle the fees at the end of a day or a week or however often you do it. It's like, okay, what was your gross receipts? 30% of that, boom, that's what you pay the club. Now, all of these red rows are just breaking down the costs. If you want to look at all of those details, great. If you don't want to look at all those details, great. Breaks down the costs and it breaks down the percents and all of that. Transaction processing fee is 20%. You will know in your club if it's different depending on what the merchant accounts you use and all that would be. This is using a 2%, right? So your club and marketing, it's going to vary. If you guys do different amounts, now let me just tell you how we calculated this one. In this book, it says, look, I want 5 new people a day to come into my club. That's about 100 a month. And for growth rate, we want 5 a day. And what they get with a coupon is they get a discounted rate. So with a coupon, they get $1 off or whatever it is. You put in whatever their price is, and this now calculates the cost of that marketing, and it factors it in. So it's not I thought I made $13 an hour, but I only made 12 because I had to give all the free ones. No, it's or the discounted. Some give $1 off, some give 50% off, some don't do any of them. Whatever it is. If you know what your totals are, you put them in here, and this automatically averages them out and gives what an average cost of marketing is now going to be. And as we update this, if you guys really like this and start bonding and start filling these out every month, I'll update these so that you can, as a particular operator, if you want, you can enter your costs into your partner sheet, and we'll have it right on the money for you rather than an average. Okay. All right, good. So that's it. That's how to know how to share your income testimony at all times. Now, the strategy on how to become a recruiter, I haven't given you that. I've given you some of that, but those are different trainings. Get that from leadership as well. But some of it is what I just did. Turn to your partner next to you and say, how much did you just make this last hour and how much did you sell? Or take them on a tour to another one of your friendly clubs who do the same thing. At all times, make sure all people know in their head what that number is, 0.29 if that's yours, times gross sales, boom, you got it, and you're there and you're good to go. Now, if you really want to know how else I would do it, if I'm the club owner, I personally go into it and I say, well, you know, and maybe you want to own a club as well. I don't know. It's up to you, but I own a club. And not only did I make that $21 an hour here, but, you know, I got 3 clubs in my network. And last month I made 12,353 minus this. I made over $8,000 in royalties from those clubs. So I'm averaging about $2,700 per club also. I don't go to those clubs, by the way. But I get that in addition to the, you know, $4,000 a month I'm making here, right? So I also go another route. I say, yeah, you know, I'm the club owner here, Cindy. And Dave, by the way, Dave just made his $21 an hour here. But guess what? Because he's in my network, the company actually sends me 5% of his sales on top of it. So isn't that cool? So not only am I making my $21 an hour, but I'm making a 5%. Actually, I'm Pres team. Yeah, I'm making 11%. They send me 11% on all of his sales. Oh, and on her sales, too. I get that as well because I'm a club owner. And you could do that if you want to be a club owner as well. So these are different ways of knowing how to use that story. But what I shared with you is how to determine your income testimony at all times. Okay. Number 5, you guys ready for that? How to show someone the opportunity of becoming a partner. Well, actually, I have already been covering that. So you can do it verbally, as I just did. Some of the opportunity of becoming a partner, I've already been doing some of that. Some people like to show some of these figures to their prospects. But this will show you how to show them the potential. You could show your prospects the growth potential of building a network of clubs. I recommend at some point that's important to do. But if you just break it down to this one and you say, look, here it is, Susie. Our average sale is $10.41. And if you become a partner, for every time you make that sale, you would owe the club, or you would owe the club, what total cost? You would owe the club $6.81. Now, let me back up. $10.41 sale. There's some transaction fees because you're going to be processing your credit cards, and then there's a club fee to help support the club of $2.96, and then there's some costs of marketing to keep more money coming in. So all said and done, your total costs of the inventory itself, right? Because you had to buy the product and then you had to sell it. Your total cost of all that is $6.81. So you make $3 take home spendable profit for every sale. All right. Now, I didn't do a real good job of explaining that, did I? But I think you can get the gist of that. Some like to show the chart. I don't know that I really want to get into. Boy, do I need to get into? Yeah, let me do that so I can redeem how I explain that. Probably the best way to explain to someone after you share the testimonial with them and say, okay, here's how it works. It's really pretty simple. I know Dave does all your leadership does a better job at explaining this than me, but it's probably pretty simply just, look, what happens here is we all have an opportunity to sell to the clubs. What we do is we buy inventory and we sell it for more than we paid. So every time I sell one of these, average sale $10, I end up taking the $10. Some of it was to pay for the product that I sold to them. Some of it is to help pay a fee to keep this club running, and the rest I put in my pocket. And let me show you how that works. this is how much I put in my pocket. In fact, I'm right now at a 50%. Now let me explain something. I'm going to kind of flow into these two items a little bit. Let me explain the marketing plan, or you're going to want to explain the marketing plan apart from once you've shown how they make money in the club. Because the inventory is their opportunity. And the marketing plan in its simple terms, you want to sit down and say, look, when you buy value, about 100 value points worth of product, you can buy that as a distributor at a discount, 25%, right? And as you sell more, you get that at a 35%. And as you sell more, you get a 42% discount. And the maximum discount you can get is 50%. What that means is I can buy $100 worth of 50%, which means I only spend $50 on it. I sell it full price out of this inventory to the customers across the counter here, and that's my profit. And so that in essence is how it works. So when you explain that to them, I wouldn't be using the chart for that. We all started at 25% discount. So now, you know, you buy $100 worth at a 25% discount. It costs you $75. You sell it for 100. You put the 25 in your pocket. That all happens over the counter here. Now you can sell to people outside here too, but it's in the club. You're selling that. This is where what we're all doing here. And so Susie's selling her own inventory. And here's a great thing. We all have opportunity to sell our own inventory. Now, when you get that person who wants to join your team and you're talking about starting an inventory, this is where number 6 comes to play. How to choose an inventory. Really, really important. So if you've explained the marketing plan, I'm not going into all the detail on that. That's not my purpose here. Get that from your upline in leadership and some of the other trainings. But when you show the basics of the marketing plan and what it costs to get started, you've got to show them how much money they're going to make on their inventories. Okay? You've really got to show them that. Now, some in between like to go here and show this chart and say, look, I'm going to show you how to get to this 50% in no time, but starting out at 25%. On an average, we're going to sell about 7 an hour. You're going to be making $10.61 in an average hour where you sell 7. Okay? Now, once you get up to this 50%, you're going to make double that. You're going to make $21.38 an hour. Doing just what I said. Buying that inventory at a discount, selling it over the counter here. So I will show you how to get to this 50% by the end of this month if you want. I will show you how to do that. Okay? Very important, guys. You need to start promoting. Now you'll notice what I'm doing here is I'm showing how much money they can make in terms they can get. You're in the club selling to 7 people an hour. Now, if your club, you guys average 6 an hour, great, go ahead and do that. But I'm going to teach you how to do this and make that amount an hour and get up to $21 an hour. What would you rather make? 10 an hour or 21 an hour? Okay. Would you like to see how to do this by the end of the month? Yes. Now, it's really important that they see themselves making decent hourly profit and that they get that in their head first before you start talking the cost of an inventory. If you start talking the cost of the inventory before they can make the connection that that inventory is their gold mine, that inventory is their ticket to their dream, that inventory is their privilege to be able to buy it and sell it at such a decent profit. That's your business. That's what this is. So when you come into this club, here's what your business is. It's buying and selling inventory. So let's get you an inventory where you're going to be able to make some really decent money. And that's how I recommend you introduce this. And so let me show you how to get up to that $21 an hour. Here's how it works. There are really 3 different levels of inventory that you can start with. And let me explain each one to you. One is 500. You've gone through volume points with them enough that they get it, okay? I'm not going to cover that here. But I'm going to suggest a 500 volume point inventory, or a 1,000 volume point inventory, or a 2,000 volume point inventory. Why? Because if you sell this one within your first calendar month, they get rebated back to up to 35% discount, right? And this is the qualification to increase your discount to 35%. This is the qualification to increase your discount to 42%. And this is the qualification to reach that supervisor position at 50%. Okay, got it, Susie? So I'm going to explain each of these 3 inventories, and I'll tell you what. Let's start with the 500. Your 500, this is what you're going to sell it for. You'll get 500 volume points. You will sell it over the counter here for $1,081.73. Got it? That's the inventory. So there's actually markup on your menu items on top of it, but this is club inventory profit. That's all I'm talking about here. So you will actually sell that inventory portion of it for $1,081. It will cost you $548 to purchase it. Oh, I'm sorry. This is your actual club. Yeah, this is your gross receipts. You'll sell gross receipts. This is what it cost you when you bought that inventory from Herbalife. This is all of your club fees, including transaction fees, marketing costs, all of that. So at the end of that, by the time you sell that 500 volume points, you will profit $166. That's what's going to go in your pocket. Okay? Got it, Susie? Now, let's look at how long it will take you to sell that. You guys want to go up to this table. So Susie, at 7, averaging 7 an hour, you'll sell that inventory in 16 hours. So how many hours a day do you plan on working in the club? And if she says, I'm coming in 8 hours a day, you're like, well, that'll be gone in 2 days. Okay? So it'll take you 2 days to make this profit. If she says, well, I'm going to work whatever, 5 hours a day, you're like, okay, it'll be gone in 3 days. You get that? And when you order it, it's going to take you 3 to 5 days to get it in. And if you have 0 inventory, you're not making money, right? That's your gold mine. So I just want you to know, if you start on this one and you're going to put in that many hours, I want you to know how quickly you want to start turning around and reordering. Okay? Now, don't worry, Susie. We know what to buy, this 500 volume points. We're going to give you a suggestion as far as what to buy. And by the way, I suggest you guys have suggested inventories. Now, I'll be putting out in this workbook in the next release. I will put out an automatic calculation that will look at your club, and it will look at what's sold in your club of each item and what percent of total sales that is, to automatically recommend exactly what flavors and products to get for a 500 volume point inventory, or a 1,000 or 200, because of what your club is selling. It'll automatically calculate that. It'll put it in a tab, and you as club owner or sponsor can look and say, okay, this is what sells, and this is what a 500 volume point order that sells is. But I suggest that you, or 1,000 or whatever, I'd suggest you would do that. Okay. So Susie, that's a 500 volume point. Now let me show you what happens. You're going to make profit by the time you sell it of $166. Got it? That's extra and put in your pocket. But me and everyone else here who's a fully qualified supervisor at that 50%, here's what we make. We make $334 for the same thing. Is that what you want to make? She's going to say yes, of course. Okay, well, I'll show you. So the bottom line is you want to get the supervisor. Now, if you want to get 1,000 volume point inventory, here's how much profit you would make. 332. And here's what's great about that. You can look here and say, this is how long it will take to sell. It'll take 31 hours to sell that one. Or 37 hours, right? Depends on how many you sell an hour. So you guys want to look at that. And then here's the one that qualifies you for supervisor. If you sell it at 25%, you're going to make $664. And it would take you 125 hours, or I'm sorry, 63 hours to sell it. So, you know, when you look this all over, think about it. Susie, here's what I want to ask you. At 16 hours, 31 hours, even at 63 hours, do you think you could do that many hours inside of a month? 31, we have 3 weeks left of this month, right? We're in June, 3 weeks. How many hours a week do you want to work? If she says, I want to work 20, you say, well, at that rate, you could get 60 hours in before this month is out. Let me show you something, Susie. So Herbalife has this first month incentive rebate. So here's what they say, that if you buy this 500 volume point inventory, instead of taking forever to sell it, if you sell it all before this month is out, now they're going to add a rebate bonus of $66 and put you at that 35% discount. So now instead of making $166 on that same exact inventory, you'll make $232.57. Okay? So here's the other thing, Susie. If you go and you get 1,000 volume points and you sell it before the end of the month, now instead of making $332, they're going to add an additional $222 for the exact same work and the exact same sales. You're now going to make $555 instead of $332. You got to do it by the end of the month. Do you think you can put in 31 hours before the end of the month? Well, of course you can. That's 10 hours a week. Say, Susie, here's the other thing. If you do this 2,000 and sell it by the end of the month, they're going to give you $445 rebate. Now, instead of making $664, you're going to make $1,110. And guess what that does? That qualifies you to be like me as supervisor. By the end of this month, I actually would make $1,339 on that. You'd only make $1,110, but starting the next month, you'd make the $1,339. And look, what do you say, Susie? I'll help you do it. I'll shadow you. I'll train you. I'll get you going. And all you got to do is pick an inventory and get going, and let's get it sold. And if you want to get it moved before the end of the month, let's get you on the calendar. Let's go. Now, what I've just done with her is I've given her a vision on the value of the inventory and incentive to get it sold before the end of the month and incentive to go for supervisor. And now I'm not going to tell you guys to do this one, but if it were me, I would be offering this additional one. I would consider it if for my personally sponsored people. I would consider giving my wholesale profit that the company gives me just one time on Susie if she hits supervisor, that 8% wholesale profit on the 2,000 volume points, I would consider giving it to her as an incentive bonus. I'll say not only that, Susie, but if you sell all 2,000 before the end of this month, you get that, you sell that, I will personally give you an additional $229.35 bonus so that you will make the exact same amount this first month as the rest of us who are fully qualified supervisor. But I'm only offering that to you your first month. If you don't do it the first month, great. You get all these other things your other month, but I'm not going to offer that one. That's what I would consider. Now, guys, what you've got to understand is this. When you do this in your own vernacular, and this is not complicated to do, I probably made it sound more complicated than it is. But when you tie in the number of hours it takes to sell an inventory, and when you show the true value that that inventory is, that inventory is money. It's your future. It's your dream. Then your people are going to get excited about it. And if you can't, quote, get someone to buy an inventory, it's because you haven't had clarity on this and you haven't known how to give them clarity on that. When you know how to do those two things and show them the benefit of getting there before the end of the month, it's going to be absolutely powerful. Now, these numbers will be different in your club, by the way. Some of these numbers are going to vary because your club's selling price and different things are going to vary a little bit. So you're going to want to know exactly what that is going to look like in your club, and you will. It'll start here, but as you update this workbook, it'll happen in your club as well. Now, I know that's a lot I threw at you, but there's more that can be done, and if it sounds complicated, don't let it sound that way. It's just because you're just seeing it for the first time. But these 6 things are what you can know that you know from utilizing the information from that workbook. And I'm going to encourage you guys to get out, start using it, and do it. And again, it gets better and more accurate, more personalized every single month that you do it. So with that, any questions? Any feedback from any of the other leaders on this? I know a lot of you guys are using it, using this workbook, loving it. I know you're training your teams on it as well. It's going to be even better after we close this month. We'll do an update for the next month to give some of those automatic things I talked about as well. With that, if no one's got any questions, we're done. All right, that's end of workshop number 2.
No,
you guys are troopers. And what's that?
Kurt, I was just going to say it would have been awesome to kind of just hear a lot of testimonies to punctuate these points along the way, because it's pretty amazing what's happening with these clubs and their numbers and, you know, their partners and what's all happening since they moved to the partner model. But I don't own a club, so I can't give those examples, but it's pretty mind-blowing what's happening with this. And this tool is just going to make it that much easier to recruit partners and know your club and expand clubs and recruit clubs. It's going to be mind-blowing.
Yeah, you know, I was just hearing, just before coming on, was listening to Ashley gave a testimonial out on Telegram of the impact of using it for her. Ashley was one of those who came in, and there are a handful of you guys here too as well, that when we were developing this, that she got in on the development stage and started, set up a tab on, we just shared it with a handful of club owners, set up a tab as we were working through formulas and what kind of information do we want. And she was one of them who started doing that, and it's completely transformed her into a recruiter. Tira, I know, and I see Tira, you are on here. Tira was one of those who got involved and helped develop that as well. Who else? Luella got in there to a degree. Rick, Dave, anyone else I'm seeing on here who did that? We had quite a few. Jody, we had quite a few that put a lot of effort, time, and work into it, but also got inspired with it. Oh yeah, there I see Ashley's on here, Ashley and Abel. So any of you guys who do want to share, I'm good with that if you guys want to stay on the Zoom and hear testimonial or how-tos from someone who's used it.
I've only just started using it and kind of like showing some different examples to some new prospects, and I haven't had all of the information. So I really appreciate this workshop because it helps me kind of clarify things in my head as far as what I was thinking numbers were and what they actually are and things like that. But even from just being able to show them some examples of what we're currently doing and profits that we're making and what they can be making has been really helpful. And also, I think it's been helpful too with some of my partners in the club at looking at a club of their own someday, showing them the projection of like, okay, this right here is what we're doing. Can you imagine like if you had that just from in your organization, and then look at if you had another club and so on and so forth. So that's been really, really cool.
I think for me, when I came in the beginning stage, we were doing the flat rate. And what I love about this is that the spreadsheet gave me like a lot of clarity of how much money was coming into my club, how I was going to pay overhead. And I didn't feel like, I really felt so like, oh my God, am I going to have enough? Like, how am I going to do this? But the spreadsheet was like, okay, I'm going to have enough. And so I worked with a different kind of intention. And you were more relaxed because you knew that that money was coming in. And we have been having some really, really good growth at our club. And even now that I have a partner, I'm still making money and she's making money. And the clarity that she has, I'm like, look how much money, like today we had a really good day. We almost doubled our numbers from last week. And she was like, whoa, look how much money I made today. And she was really excited to close out her day. But it's also been because of these tools. And so it really, really makes it easy to talk to people about it. So I don't really have to know everything. I just started using it. I just kind of pull the spreadsheet out and I just show it to them. And then I'm like, look, this is what it says. And then they understand because it's in the spreadsheet and the numbers don't lie to you.
Yeah, there's so many different, just incredibly beneficial things you can do with the information that's on there. And, that's one right there that Ashley's putting out there, and that is motivating your team to market. And I know Rick was sharing this one with me the other day too, and I shared some of that on there. But when you say, look, guys, if we just get to X number, we're all going to make so much more profit. In fact, here, let me just throw one idea out there to you, because some of you are going to find a time to do that. So that really spurred that. Here's an idea. You could say to your I'm just going to use these numbers, but they could be any other kinds of numbers. You could be saying to your team, look, guys, the club fee, the transaction or the partner club fee is 30%. But when we start producing 150 a day, I will reduce the club partner fee to 28%. You could do that if you wanted to. That's what you could do with some of this extra money if you wanted. Go and share it with the partners who helped build it. Or you could be saying, anyone who brings in X number of new people, once we hit this number, will instead of, we'll reduce your rate for this month. Anybody who brings in 50 new people this month, instead of paying a 30%, you get this month only, you get a 3% off your partner fee. You pay 28%. This tells you whether you can afford to put incentives like that out. And you could do 1 month incentive. And what you've just done is you've motivated your team to market. If they do it, then you've got the extra income. You've gone above the break-even point where now the club is making profit, where you could invest some of it back because they've increased the customer base. But if they don't meet it, you haven't gone in the hole. There's so many different things you can do with this information on how to motivate your team if they get clarity on it, right? So anyway, that's just one.
Kurt, I was just going to add, we do that sliding scale we just use that table right there and have a sliding scale so everybody knows what they're shooting for and they know what the number's going to go to when they hit it. So it's pretty clear they're excited. And the other part about recruiting is we've been doing this for a month, and we physically cannot accommodate everybody that wants to be in our club. So when we talk to people about marketing, people have distributors that want to join us, and we need to market because we need to get expanded hours so that people can get in. You know, it's a very powerful tool when your when your person that's a month in your club gets a new distributor that wants to join the club, and then they ask you where they can put them, and we say, well, we have no room unless you want to give up your shifts, which they don't. So that increases marketing automatically because now we want to be open 12 hours a day. And then for all of you on here, you know, Kurt and I were talking a couple times this week, go into that spreadsheet, put in a projection where you get to have your club open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and average 15 sales an hour. 15. 7 each person, 2 people on. Put that in there once. That when you see all the pin changes come across and everything that's happening around us, that's what's happening, and it goes really, really fast. So we're pretty excited about it. But yeah, just the incentive to recruit is huge for your new distributors when they start seeing these numbers, and then more people join. And then, like I said, we don't have room. In 4 weeks, we're out of room. We got a new person starting tomorrow, and that's about all we can do until we're open 12 hours a day. So
Rick, give me some clarity.
Well, I guess one other thing too that Ashley said. One other thing I wanted to say that Ashley said, guys, don't get bogged down in studying this now for the next 6 months and think that you have to know. You know, there's people on our team. Dave's going to smile here in a second because he's going to get it too. But there's people out. Don't study this for 6 months and think you have to know every formula in this spreadsheet. Know your numbers. Put it in. You're going to be profitable. People are going to make money. It's going to work. They're going to get excited. More people are going to join you. I mean, I'm seeing Jess Quid on here. She just left me a message a couple days ago and said, I don't know, I'm freaking out. I don't know why, but I just feel like I'm freaking out because too many people are adding. You know, there she's laughing now. You know, she literally left me a message saying that. I'm freaking out. I don't know why, but I feel like I should because I got 4 people joining me and I don't even know what's going on. And it works. It's all right there, but that is a caution I give you is we all do it. You know, it's Dave's line from 8 years ago. Ready, aim, fire doesn't work. Just ready, fire. Just do it. That's my biggest piece of advice. I smile when Ashley was talking. Just do it. It will work. You will add people. They will be profitable. They will add more people. You will add hours, and you'll be Get Team in a few months.
Yeah, I also
That's all I got, Kurt.
So
I also think it's really important that your partners use this. Don't just use it as a club owner. Get your partners familiar with this because, you know, when they play with those numbers themselves too, they start seeing how much money they're going to make. Right now they know how much they make. But when they can start looking at this and playing with the numbers and saying, oh my gosh, if I work just these more hours or I bring in this many more people, it will incentivize them in ways that you will never be able to incentivize them. So make sure your partners get to know this and use this. And I'm telling you, it'll change your business big time.
yeah, that would be a good, club team meeting. Maybe however often, once a week or once every couple of weeks for a little while, till you really get clarity of team vision with it. So Rick, when you said you're using sliding scale, help me be clear on that. Are you saying that you have for each of these different productivity levels, you have a different partner fee rate?
Yes, we're giving them targets. So when we hit 100, it's going to go to this. When we get 125, it's going to go to this. When it's 150, it's going to go to this.
Okay, so you are decreasing the partner fee percent of sales based on club productivity levels.
Correct.
And so if they hit 150 on average a day for 1 month, but the next month they average 149, then it's back down to that other rate or back up.
Yep. If it goes down, then it goes back up. Absolutely.
Interesting. Well, that's pretty cool. Okay, and one other thing, what numbers were you saying to plug in here?
Well, you
said just go in
have
there
to go
and do
back
it.
and do your days a week first. Get your 7 days a week.
Oh, okay. Back to workbook admin.
You have to reset the whole thing. Yeah.
I'm gonna save that for a different time when when you can have a workbook that you can show everyone to do how to do that with. Because all the numbers in here, you'd have to get your numbers
Deal.
all right. This is my working copy, but
Yeah,
hey,
you'd have to
you could
redo
do
that.
that. You could probably record it and then just forward it out on a chat. Do a Zoom recording and forward it on a chat. A 5-minute video. I'd love to see it. Okay. Oh, and by the way, when you know what Rick mentioned there too, you will, if you really just get clarity on all of these things and do it, you will have more people wanting to be partners in your club than you have positions for. And you really want to be thoughtful about how you set up whatever your waiting list is. That, my opinion, take it, leave it, is that you rotate out the less productive and rotate in the more productive, rather than just say, gee, all 10 slots or all 20 slots or however many, all 10 slots are filled. Sorry, until someone quits, no one else can come in. No, I would allow whoever is most productive gets priority. Productive meaning bringing in new business. In my opinion, who's reliable and all the other things. Because when you think of why do you have a team of partners partnering to generate profits, the reason is we together are going to contribute to growing the club. And if you get some who won't contribute to, quote, growing the club, but will contribute to servicing customers, that offers value to a degree, but the greater value is those who help grow the club and grow the customer base. So I would make sure you have incentives and policies in place to give priority and rotate in those who will help grow and expand the club, and don't let those who won't keep a slot filled so no one else can come in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Are we done? Go make royalties. Go expand your clubs. You guys are. I'm just so odd. I'm really inspired and awed at everything I see going on. With that, I'm going to sign out. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you, Kurt. This is amazing. And happy
Everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.